And now, Hangar 56 Media presents Spike's Car Radio, a downloadable cars and coffee, hosted by writer, comedian, and automotive enthusiast Spike Ferriston. Now, here's Spike.
Yeah. That's Space Hog in the meantime. And we are at the Porsche Experience Center, Carson, California, on a very special day. A very special day. For the birth of our GT4RS. Jonny Lieberman, Paul Zuckerman. You guys are up.
Hi.
We're listening to In the Meantime by Space Hog. Remember that?
I do.
I heard this song in the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and they're so good finding these songs for that movie franchise, aren't they? I totally forgot this song existed.
Part 3 was actually a pretty good movie, too. I was
fantastic.
excited.
You know what else is pretty good? Turn this down. We're in the design studio piece, and I think this is the place. We've been here a bunch, right?
Yeah.
This is the room at the Porsche Experience Center in Carson where you come to spec out your car. On the wall, they have different paint finishes and interior features. They have grand opening autographs. Ooh, look at that. They don't need that.
Are we on there?
I don't think so. Were we at the grand opening?
I think we were. I think we came down here with your friend from New York.
Oh, yeah. And, look at this on the wall. There's a little thing that says, welcome, Spike, Jack. Here, let's take, that's very nice. You can check it out and our new car right now on Instagram. Mike O'Donnell from Porsche Clearwater, the man who makes it all possible. Round of applause for Mike O'Donnell. Yeah. There you are. He came out all the way from Florida to deliver our new GT4RS. And here it is. Zuckerman.
There's still enough.
Hold on. You're
enough.
Hold on.
Don't
Johnny.
interrupt him when he's on a tangent.
You're cutting in and out. You got to keep your hand off that part of the mic, that where it connects. Hold the microphone. There you go. Now try.
Go ahead.
Okay, there you go. What were you going to say? Just because you were cutting out, that's all.
He's saying there's enough profit in the car that they sold you that he can fly out and they still make money. I pre-interviewed him.
We are glad to give our money to Mike.
Yes, that's okay.
Mike can take our money.
Porsche Clearwater, we're making them the biggest Porsche franchise in the world.
Everyone buy your car from Mike O'Donnell.
Wow.
We're very easy. You just bribe us with GT cars and we'll do whatever you want for it.
We're you bitches.
So we came here at Saturday morning. We got here at around 8:30 in the morning. We walked in. We signed a bunch of disclaimers in case we get disfigured on the track. We've decided not to go on the track, all of us, because we're a little busy. But my son Jack is out in the track right now with the driver.
I'm going on the track.
Johnny, you're going to go on the track.
You guys get a car. I don't get a car. So.
Zuckerman is taking our car, not on the track, home. He's going to drive it first. And then they brought us into this room to do a reveal with a sheet over the car. There was music playing.
Dire Straits.
Old man music. They knew the right music to play.
They knew their constituency.
Aerosmith. And they had a nice presentation about the car, and then we stood by the car, and they pulled off and did this big reveal. It's really fun.
Ta-da!
It was really fun. And Zuckerman, what do you think? There it is. There's the spec. What did you think when you first saw it?
I was so pleased. We've been waiting for this car for so long. There's been COVID. There's been whatever. So this was the longest gestation period ever. It took forever. Are we a year and change late on
I don't
this
remember.
car?
I don't remember.
It's so late that I kind of wrote it off. Like it's like kind of like my Daytona at Canopus place.
Yeah, we forgot about it.
It's never coming, and I just was expecting not to like it. Didn't want to like it because it's been so long. And it's beautiful.
If I remember, I think it was supposed to be here in April
of the year before.
Last November.
Was it? Oh, so that's almost a year. Was it last November? Is that
I think
long
so.
ago? Okay,
I think so.
Okay, yeah. But either way, it was a long time.
And Zuckerman and I are very patient. Obviously, we're busy, we're working, we're making podcasts, and we have other cars to drive. And we're very patient with the process. But then you have a day like today, and it's really exciting because you kind of have forgotten the whole concept behind the car.
Right.
And then you see the Oslo blue. I was surprised by that hood we did.
Yeah.
Right? The Special Wishes hood, that on the back, that line of paint continues onto the wing.
One stripe.
I didn't know about that. And so that's the first thing that caught my eye. And then the aluminum wheels instead of going with the black wheels.
And the gray spec interior, the inserts of the seats.
The seats look good on that blue, the gray.
And I'm going to say something. This seat, in the 1 second I was in it, this sport bucket is more comfortable than the outgoing version.
Yeah, because I think the outgoing, the GT seats were the 918 seats, and they're real carbon fibery and not a lot of adjustment. And these, they look good. I didn't sit.
Well, this was a last-minute change that Seinfeld told us to do. He said, you really got to get sports seats in this car, and I think he was right. This is a little race car, and it should have those seats. And
so this is spec'd by Pruinger and Seinfeld.
And Featherston, I had no influence.
Look, that's what we do when you get these decisions, and I think everybody listening is when you're speccing a car, you start to panic a little bit. So you go to your friends and you try to use your resources, and I was using every one in this one. I think, Zuckerman, you and I were a little passive on the 992 Touring, and I said to you on this one, let's really go the distance. Let's do something special and make a special car.
And what did I say? Do what you want. I'm busy. I got to make the money. Leave me alone.
And I think Mike and I, Mike from Clearwater and I, did it on this car, and then we're doing it on the GT4RS. And should we be lucky enough to get an ST allocation, that's Europe. That's you. You're going to have to make the decisions on that one.
I will. I had some input on the GT3RS.
You did?
Yes.
That's right. Okay, good.
Yeah. Remember, I suggested in general the colors.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
I think you should let me do your ST because you guys need a purple car.
Well, we have an idea. Zuckerman at some point, without getting too into it now, Zuckerman at one point was denied. He had another Plan Z partner, and he was denied something he really wanted. And so I want to go in that direction. I want him to get this color.
I got
exactly.
And poop emojis. Poop emojis all over. Poop emojis would actually be fantastic.
7 minutes in, we're talking about pooping Nazis. So have your drinks if you're playing along.
Pooping Nazis.
Anyway, if you are thinking about doing a Porsche Experience Center delivery, here's who I would recommend do this. After talking to the gang here. If you're getting your first Porsche, I would definitely do a delivery here. I think in Atlanta or here, because that first drive home from your first Porsche is a very special drive. You'll remember it for the rest of your life. And to be able to do that, get your car and to take it on the track or a car like it and learn how to drive, you will have a very memorable day and experience, a little more so than what I was recalling to the guys here, which was when I picked up my first car, which was a Boxster, the brand new Boxster. And the salesman just handed us the keys and said, good luck. And we drove home, and the drive was incredible. But it was on the 405, right. and still, but I remember the joy and the happiness and the feel of that car and that drive. And to think back now to go, if I could have had that car and then taken a car like it on the racetrack and then driven it home, that would have been a thing.
I was just going to say, imagine if we weren't the most cynical, jaded humans in Los Angeles, and they actually did a whole, song and dance routine.
No, it's cool.
I think a lot of people would be just stoked and signing things and the pictures and the music and the spectacle. It was cool.
They're very genuinely happy to be delivering you your car, and they really want to make it an event. And we are dicks. We don't want to stay around. We don't want to do the whole thing.
Why would you want to go to a party that someone throws for you? How horrible.
We are dicks. What? Anyway, Jim Farley, CEO of Ford, is on the show. Briefly, I did a short interview with him up in Monterey at the Quail. You're going to hear that in a little bit. I also want to just kind of go through, we did that Pebble show last week with Jerry and you guys, and thanks for coming up, guys. It was really a huge success. Really, most fun I've ever had up there. I just thought it worked out perfectly. I got to do 20 with you guys, 20 with Jerry, and then he was out of there. And it was so much fun to hang out with everybody and to see the Spike's Car Radio fans. The autograph session was bizarre and funny. Someone commented, I've never seen older white men trying to get autographs before, and that really made me laugh. And I was like, yeah, that is weird. That is weird, but we loved hanging up there and doing that. And but there were a lot of cars we didn't get a chance to talk about up there. Like, let's start with Mercedes. We were all at the AMG GT reveal, right?
Yep.
And then, Jonny, you were exhausted.
Yeah,
You'd
I left.
been up for 12 hours, but you said, I got to listen to this presentation. Zuckerman and I wandered off and looked at the other cars. What did you think of that car when you saw it?
To me, design-wise, it's just a big step backward from the last GT. Now, Horatio Pagani was wandering around.
Yeah, we met him.
I grabbed him, and I'm like, hey, what do you think? And he encapsulated my thoughts, which were, the last one was polarizing, right? You loved it or you hated it. And this one, it's hard to hate. And if you look at it, there's a lot of 911, especially like from the B pillar back. It's just the surfacing, the way the little window sits. It really is 911-y looking. So it's a pretty safe, conservative design to me. I don't know. It's all-wheel drive only for now, which to me, you don't really need that in the GT. I don't know. It didn't excite me that much. The SL, the Mercedes SL, which is out now. We've talked about this. Like, they made it bigger. They put a back seat in it. It's real heavy, and this GT seems to just be the hardtop version of that with a different grille. So I'm not thrilled by it.
The Mercedes party was good.
The Mercedes party was great.
They had cigars. So
Lamb chops.
So you walked in, they had all this chopped up rubber to walk on, which they thought was a cool idea. Like it was all tires, right?
Yeah.
But you were walking about 40 yards on a field of chopped up rubber, which didn't seem like
It would be a
good
great
idea.
exercise field. You would certainly.
If you had high heels on, you couldn't walk in it.
No, it was like it's the footing of a horse arena. It doesn't. It doesn't work for humans.
But once you got in, there was a guy. There was that great cigar company. What was the name?
Olivia.
Oh, yeah.
And they were selling the new Vitola of the Olivia 5.
Yeah. They had great
I had
cigars. They had really interesting cars. What was the giant sculpture of the Mercedes?
That was a Maybach from the 1920s.
No. The G-Wagon.
Yes,
I can't remember the company. It's like Mandor or something. They make puffy jackets, so they made like puffy wheels and stuff. For
Moncler?
Yeah, Moncler.
Oh man, so
That was a Moncler made an inflatable G-Wagon?
It's not inflatable. It's metal. It looks inflatable.
It's probably not Moncler.
It's Moncler.
Moncler, they make
puffy jackets.
puffy jackets.
Yeah, it's Moncler here.
They're on one of those
I'm gonna
Netflix shows that we watch. The Good Boys. There's
Right.
Hey Fam, whatever that show is, like the low level.
Yes.
They all wear Moncler jackets. I call them the Moncler gangs.
Moncler G-Wagon.
Top boy.
Moncler G-Wagon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so they're really selling.
So they're starting to do fashion collabs a lot. Like Gordon Wagner's really doing that. Like he did one with Virgil Abloh for the Maybach, and they actually put it into production.
Wow.
That thing was killer. I love that.
I thought it was cool.
Yeah. And then they had that C111 concept, which is pretty good.
We're back to the Lincoln Cartier edition.
And
yes,
Bill Blass edition.
Mercedes, thank you for getting us a car, and Jonny for you arranging that.
And Bentley for getting us parking passes.
Yeah. What was the car we had, though? It was an SUV.
I think you were in a
AMG
GLS 63.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is a hell of a car.
Spectacular luxury SUV.
So
and
comfortable.
Fortress of Solitude.
It was perfect for what we had to do, which was to just get around to events in the most comfort that we could. And the self-driving stuff or the passing, the driver's aids were fantastic for this traffic.
Cooling.
We were really comfortable. I don't know how I go back to that. It wasn't good, obviously, on Highway 1. We took a little drive up there.
I mean, it's okay, but that's like the Fortress of Solitude car. It's just like you're in
perfect.
charge, and you guys were on like 23-inch monoblocks or something. It looked good. It was cool.
It was a very comfortable, nice thing. How expensive are those?
175, something like that. I don't know how it was spec'd, but they're not cheap. I can look that up too.
Yeah. You know what I'm in that's also not cheap right now? The Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT.
Yeah.
What a vehicle.
So Porsche dropped that off this week. It's been a very car-y couple of weeks here. It seems to be just coming at us.
Hey, that's good.
White with a black interior, gigantic front brake calipers like I've never seen before. This thing is 650 horsepower. It's going to cost you $200,000. It's, I think, a Lamborghini Urus competitor. It is one of those things, and you know me, I don't like Macans and I don't like Cayennes, but I drove this, and in the first few inches, I was in love.
Yeah.
I was in something. I knew that I need something like this.
That's as close to a rebodied Urus as you can buy. So a lot of people think the Urus and like the Audi RSQ8 are the same, but they have different motors. So the Weissach actually builds the motor for the Turbo GT, and they build it for the Urus. And so it's a high output
same motor?
version. Yes, it's the same. I think they always make sure the Lambo is 10 horsepower more because it costs another.
Well, this is
50,000.
650.
And I think the Urus Performante is now 661.
You know what's lovely about it, and just simple driving, and I'm just doing dad driving right now, is just in your regular comfort mode. It's perfectly quiet, and you're zipping down Sunset to the Palisades and back, dropping kids off wherever they need to go. But when you turn on Sport or Sport Plus, you can hear it, but not so much that it's annoying the hell out of you. And it goes. It's 0-60 feels like it's under 3 seconds.
It's
it is
3 on the nose, 3.0.
I think Car and Driver hit 2.
Who?
8.
Who?
Car and Driver.
They use better gas than we do.
And I'm not so sure. I can't tell. It's fast enough. I mean, that's a ridiculous 0-60 stat for an SUV. But what's nice about it is you don't feel so high up. It feels compact. There's no glass roof. It's a carbon fiber roof. You're down low, and if you're going to have one thing that does everything, there's a lot of room in the back. This is your SUV if you've got $200,000.
I was going to say, though, that's the thing. For $200,000, you can get into like a Aston Martin DBX.
There's no way the DBX will. I'm going to drive that in a week.
The 707?
There's no way that the 707 is going to be as the ease of use that comes with this car. I'll try it.
It's a Mercedes drivetrain in the Aston Martin. So, like, not only the engine, but the transmission and the axles are Mercedes.
Right.
And it's, I'd say the Porsche's 5% more athletic, but that 707 is like
all of these are looks challenged, though. I don't. Which one of the Urus is the best looking out there?
Yeah, but it's a very provocative
that's right.
idea,
and that's why you go to the Cayenne, which is very nondescript,
right?
And no one would ever really know what you're dealing with here. That's the beauty of it. I personally, I don't really like the looks of the Aston. I don't like the look of the Bentley. I don't like the look
Bentley.
of the...
No one likes the looks of the Bentley.
Yeah.
Hey, just watch your mic because you keep touching that part of it. I've got to get a new thing there, but every time you hit that, you're cutting out.
I really have trouble with how the Aston, the Bentley, all of those things look for the money.
Really?
I do.
The Bentley is a beautiful thing to look at.
No.
Wait, really? I think they're lovely.
The former head of design for Rolls-Royce told me after a few champagnes, he goes, we're talking about the Bentayga. He goes, when you catch a fish and it's sitting there on the deck of the boat and it's in that transition between life and death, that's the face of the Bentayga. And I was like, ooh, go on the record.
Oh, not the Bentayga. I was talking about the other Bentleys.
The other Bentleys are gorgeous.
Yeah.
No, the Bentayga's challenge.
But look, I can tell you driving this Cayenne around, nobody's even looking at you. It looks like a white Cayenne until you kind of look closely. And, somebody wants to rev up next to you, like last night. They're very surprised what happens in the moments after that.
Great celebrity car then.
The thing can turn.
Yeah, handling is incredible.
The handling is unbelievable on those Sunset Boulevard turns. The speed is nice. The sound is nice. This thing is calibrated just right. It's got a little, wireless phone charger forward here. The shift is up here now, but a little forward that works so well that you leave your phone in the car all the time. I keep going into the house and I'm like,
yeah. Where's my phone?
Yeah, but I'm not playing with my phone when I drive. Everything's nice. I mean, it's just, it would integrate right into my life immediately.
We tested all these, and I believe like to 60, if you go to like the 100th, the Urus is still quicker, but I think this is the quickest SUV in the quarter mile, and we do this figure 8 test, and it beat the Urus. It's the first SUV to ever beat the Urus, so it's like the handling is world class.
Yeah,
the best. It's literally the best handling SUV.
I give it a Spike score of 49, which is my highest number that I can give. 49.
Can he count to 50?
No, my scale is weird. You either get a 14, a 28, or a 49. And 49, a highest Spike score.
Nice.
Let's talk about Vredestein tires. Today's episode sponsored in its entirety by our Spike's Car Radio tire partner, Vredestein. They are the folks, the official tire partner of Spike's Car Radio. They've been advertising now. I just saw they started posting about us. That they are now.
I saw that too.
And it is good. And I when I get one of these SUVs like the Porsche Cayenne GT, I take my Defender and I put it in the hangar and I pick up my old Series 2A. And if your brain is addled like mine, you forget, hey, there's new wheels and tires on this thing. I was like, why is it driving so well? That's because there's Vredestein tires on it. And I just love it. I love it when you sort a car out just right and you forget about it. Carnesia, as we call it. Mm-hmm. It's there. But those Vredestein tires are working in my life. We have Quad Track Pros on Erica's Tesla. Seinfeld has VW Sprint Classics on his Volkswagen. Jonny's getting him for his Rivian.
They're here.
They are.
They're here. They get installed Monday, but they're at Zip Tire.
All right. Yeah. Well, are they going to come to your house?
I got new wheels, so yeah, they're going to come put the new tires on the new wheels. But I have them ship them to them because
yeah. Then Zip Tire comes right to your driveway and does it.
It's the best.
Zip Tire getting a big bounce off this too.
Hey man,
a lot of listeners are using Zip Tire. I think so much so that Vredestein called up and said, "Hey, could you not plug Zip Tire so much? They're not paying."
Zip it.
But I think people are freaked out that you don't have to go to a place anymore.
It's kind of the greatest thing in the whole world.
I mean, really, it's the direction of all things. We just want to be strapped into our lounge chair watching TV and stuffing our faces while our life is fixed in our driveway.
Soon we'll all be in test tubes. Just brains in there, connected to wires.
Anyway, Vredestein, thank you for sponsoring Spike's Car Radio. And as you know, they've designed Giorgetto Giugiaro, who designs their tires, or a lot of them, has designed beautiful cars, the BMW M1, as well as some really cool Seiko watches. Go to Vredestein.com, I guess. There's no discount code yet, but maybe we'll get you guys one. Right now, we're raising the visibility for Vredestein and endorsing them and driving them, and we love them. And I think our name is catching on. Vreds.
Fred.
Vredestein is like Ferriston. It's just a word we don't like, and it's not ever going to be spelled
we love
right.
The word.
But Vreds.
Fred ain't dead.
Farah. Then I'd be Farah. Spike Farah. I do regret not changing my last name.
To what? What would it be?
I would have gone with my middle name, Spike Donovan. It's just an easier idea. Spike Donovan.
Donovan's hard to spell, so is Ferriston.
Donovan.
It would be misspelled.
Donovan.
What about Spike Ferris?
How about Spike Daisy?
What? Ferriston's a great name.
It's a complete... No.
How about Rats? We'll just call you Spike Rats.
Spike Rats.
Your last name is now Rats.
Anybody with a bad, difficult last name is constantly spelling it for people. I have my, it's funny because I have the picture of the kids' school pictures, and I was walking by one on a dresser the other day. I looked over, it said Jack Fernstein, and next to it says James Frenston. And I went to my wife, I go, what the hell is this? She goes, does it matter? And I go, no, but still, that's what I mean.
But Starbucks has taught us that if your last name is Holt, Holt, they will spell that wrong, no matter what your name is.
No, but in show business, a good name, Ralph Lauren. Right? In a business, you want something that's
Dean
quick.
Martin.
Dean Martin, right? Yeah.
Oh. Spike Rats. That's it. Everybody knows how to spell
I think your
rats.
career has been held back.
I do. Yeah. My on camera for sure. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think a name it's hard to grab onto.
Let's go to court. Let's change it.
It's too late.
Rats.
No, it's not. Spike Rats.
I'm on the other end of my. No.
Doesn't matter.
Spike Rats.
Yeah. Spike
And
Rats.
by the way, I don't even like Spike. That's a nickname somebody gave me. It's just, it was a joke 20 years ago. I don't even want that.
Just Rats.
Michael Rats.
Rats. Michael Rats?
Yes.
S or Z?
Yes. Just Mr.
Michael
Rats. Rats, it's rats, just like it sounds.
I don't even understand what you're talking about.
Neither do I, but it's terrific.
Like rats. Hey, rats.
You got a whole group of rats. Party of rats come to your table.
All right. Okay, what else did we see? Yes,
Rats family.
Bentley provided us with a lot of great passes. Mike, thank you for the quail pass. We didn't know we had a quail pass, and so we were asking all the manufacturers for them. And
we ended up using his, right?
And then I opened up Mike's envelope from Clearwater, and there was the pass. And I went, oh nice. Now I have two. But Bentley hooked us up. What else? Oh, the guys at Lotus. They had some cool stuff. They had a great stand at the Quail this year, right?
They had
Type
that 66 is the sexiest.
Wait, hold on. What is that car?
It's the Type 66.
Explain it.
Okay.
That's the red race car, right?
Yeah, Can-Am was a thing. 917, the Porsche 917 was so successful they stopped racing. Colin Chapman wanted to do it apparently and had blueprints drawn up to build a Can-Am racer, and never did it. And somebody found a model of this car on a shelf and said, "What's this?" And then they found a sealed tube that had the blueprints in it, and they built 10 of these. And it's an aluminum chassis with carbon fiber bodywork, 800 some horsepower Roush V8, single seater. It's just killer looking.
Beautiful.
It's got the unequal length velocity stacks and just absolutely killer looking.
The seal tube. We found the plans of the seal tube along with the name
hermetically
Michael Ratz.
sealed.
They had their electric SUV, which they showed me around.
Yeah, the Electra,
which I love.
I drove it.
Will it get made?
Oh, I drove it.
It's made. We sat in it. He drove it. What did you think?
Look, I drove the one it's 180 grand. It's 904 horsepower. It's a rocket ship, but they did a really good job on the suspension. So in comfort mode, it's actually comfortable, and in sport mode, it's like real stiff. So it's air suspension, and it really firms up. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And I was confused because when it came out, I read a lot of the reviews, and all the negative stuff was what people said about the Cayenne 20 years ago. Oh, Porsche can't make an SUV. Oh, it's impossible. And same thing with Lotus. They can make an SUV. It's pretty good,
Right.
And everyone's like, well, it's not light. Okay, it's an SUV. It's not light, But
I think in
phenomenal.
the electric market right now, people are looking for uniqueness, and they'll just jump to anything that somebody else doesn't have. We live in a world of Tesla right now,
exactly.
and you're starting to see the EQS line or the EQ line Mercedes, and I think in a minute, at least where I live, people are just going to go, I want that. I liked it. I thought it was great. Next to that, they had
the other EV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that one?
That was Jensen Button's Evira, I believe it's called.
And is that a car they're going to sell?
Yeah, it's a $2 million, 2,000 horsepower,
two-seater. Everything's twos.
Two-seater.
But it comes with Jensen Button.
It comes with, yeah.
Zuckerman.
Zuckerman, put your pants on. Yeah, it's thing's wild looking. I've seen it with the skin off at the factory in Hethel.
Yes.
And it looks like the Aston Martin Valkyrie with the skin off.
It's gorgeous. I couldn't believe Lotus is emerging right now.
Yeah, well, they got a lot of money from BYD who bought them.
They're about to be somebody.
Let's hope.
And no disrespect, but they were a bit of a novelty before.
They sold 1,400 cars last year.
And now, what they had going on at the Quail was a totally different stance.
They've walked out of hospice care.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm back. I was dying, but wait, I'm here.
Yeah. Well said.
Well said.
Yeah. Well bought. Well said.
Lotus walked out of hospice care. That's well said.
Yes.
The other wild thing is with that car, I saw a video on a dude's phone where it's all-wheel drive, but it's 4 motors, so you can turn off the front motors and do crazy lurid burnouts.
Wow.
With just the rear motors.
Yeah. And they're always great to us. They're a bunch of good guys that we talked to over there, Rob Borrett and the crew.
Rob's a big fan.
Can-Am car. Those uneven velocity stacks, the velocity stacks just do it for me.
Oh, it's the greatest. On a brand new car. How cool is that?
I would walk around with a velocity stack on my head. It's just, those things just always get my attention in such a childish way.
Nothing's cooler. Usually they're on McLarens in museums, but
Right.
something that's going to be driving around on a track day, that's pretty cool. So.
And what else? What else did we see up there that
Cops
that haven't talked about? Oh yeah. Now there's been a lot on social media. Not surprisingly, Lamborghini guy got in trouble this year. I know, Jonny, you said you didn't feel that this was any different. I've been going up there for about 15 years. There was an element of hooliganism going on, Lamborghini guy hooliganism, and by that I don't mean just people goosing it up. There was a kid arrested driving in the oncoming traffic lane around a blind turn in a Gallardo at 100 miles plus, 100 miles per hour plus, who was arrested and yanked out of a car. I mean that kind of driving. We saw a McLaren hit a bus on Highway 1.
Why does it make us so happy?
It's just it could be great. My friend was on the bus.
But there seems to
talk to him.
He was?
Yeah.
He was on the bus.
He was on the
He's
bus.
heard it.
So what did he say? He
just said the McLaren made a bad move trying to pass the bus.
Did he see it coming, or suddenly was there
he wasn't paying attention. He felt a thud.
And it hit the back of the bus or the front of the bus?
I think it was the front of the bus, and McLaren went into a tree.
At what speed would you guess?
McLaren was wrecked good.
Yeah, but I think the McLaren was probably only going 50, but it was trying. It bounced off of. I mean, you know this. If a bus hits a passenger car, bus wins like a lot.
Right.
Put it this way, it's totaled.
Oh, yeah,
it's finished.
Yeah.
But it was kind of disappointing. I mean, to see that kind of. We had these like beautiful moments of seeing, like when we talked about it last week, just being in the woods and it's foggy and a 250 short wheelbase just cruises by at 35.
Yeah.
But to see the idiot element there was a little surprising.
It's a problem with the Lamborghini owners. This happened. This is why. This is why our car show at Bill's got shut down. Remember?
Yeah,
you remember that?
Well, we're put in the same boat with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do.
I think I was standing there with you, and two Aventadors pulled in. There was a little bit of traffic waiting to park.
And they just revved.
Put it in neutral and just started banging, and I was like, we're getting shut down. It was the next week is when the owners were like, "Ah." So, I don't know. What do you do? I don't know. But did you see?
But why that event? I mean, of all the events, it really is the goofball, blue-blooded, collared shirt set event. It's not really
all cars, and those guys have. I remember, the Quail is like Lamborghini Central. The Quail is like all about hypercars and supercars.
Yeah.
So
they reached out to me for feedback. Do I have any why does everybody need a survey after you do stuff? I order boba for my kids, and I get an email. How was your experience? Do you have a moment to rate? Leave me alone. That's what the money's for. If I give you money, I liked it. Yeah. Wow. All right?
That's a 49.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I went to the dentist, and they go, when I get home, there's a survey. You have a minute to No. I don't. I sat in your stupid...
with my underwear on backwards.
Yes, that's it. I'll get in touch with you. If I want to do a survey, why am I helping you with your thing? That's what the money is for. So with the Quail, I'm not going to tell you what I think of your event. We had a good time. And just leave it at that. Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it. There was a really amazing moment of insanity when I was in the Lotus booth, and you looked up, and you know how they had that sculpted out circular open ceiling?
Yeah.
And the jets flew across right at that moment. 5 fighter jets with different colors streaming out the back.
I'd already left, but I heard about
that. That was amazing.
It was a remarkable moment where you just
it was like, just
God.
for us. Look what they did for us.
Yeah, it was really great. All right, there's your feedback.
Too much sunlight. Get rid of the sunlight.
No, we had a great time. We met dogs. We met people. The food is fantastic. It really is a great event.
The food is the best part.
And I thought the people were great, and there weren't too many of them, and Myers Manx was there. All the people we wanted to talk to. I didn't see a big Porsche presence. Who's our friends down in Orange County who make those?
Gunther
Works was there. They had some beautiful cars. I want to drive that little speedster.
I was busy eating this pineapple cake. I kept eating the pineapple cake, and Ferris said, "You got to try this cake. It's so good." What did you tell me? It's rum cake, you dummy. I turned into a rum dum.
You're a rum dum now.
Rum dum. Oh, this cake is so good. Why is it so good, Ferris? It's soaked in rum.
I need a bucket of this cake. Zuckerman. I'm going to strap it to my ears and just start sucking down rum cakes.
Could have it in a martini glass.
Yeah.
And food was, it's really an impressive event, and I don't know why they need anything after it, to be honest. But you went to the proper event. What was that like? I didn't even ask you about that. Pebble Beach Concours.
Look,
Did you wear a dumb outfit?
I wore a medium dumb outfit.
We thought it was dumb.
Thank you.
49.
Was it crowded? Or was it okay?
Crazy crowded.
I thought this year everything was a little less than it usually is.
Not crazy crowded. I feel like a year ago it was like crowded, but no, it was great. Look, phenomenal cars. What was interesting was like there's this real changing of the guard that's going to happen. So there was a Diablo, via death, but there was a Diablo on the lawn. Like the Diablo is really should be the polar opposite of a Concorde d'Elegance, right? I mean, it's a Diablo. It's a rowdy Lamborghini. And there was a Diablo, there was a McLaren. There's two F1s, and a pre-war car still won. And it was don't check the Carfax, but it's a 1937 Mercedes. Like you don't want to know who the original owner is, but like as my friend Jamie said, he said
I would like that.
37 Crystal Knox was just a gleam in their eye.
Oh God!
But anyways, it was the events changed, but it was fantastic. And again, why is Pebble the Concours d'Elegance so good? The cars that are on the lawn, they can't come back for a decade.
10 years.
Yeah, so it's always a fresh.
Oh, they
show.
can't.
No.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So if you go to like Amelia Island, great show, but it's sort of the same cars and a lot like I'm gonna Goodwood Revival. It's great, but it's the same cars every year.
Right.
And if I habitually go to these things for work, and I would still go if I wasn't working. It's always fresh, and it's like 200 and some odd of the greatest cars in the world, and they're always new.
Right.
So it was awesome. I loved it.
It seemed like the market was also down as far as selling cars. Vintage market.
16% off last year. But
Who
the
threw
highs
that
were
stat
higher.
out there? I read that too.
David Gooding told me.
The big cars, big pieces sold well. The serious buyers were there with serious money for serious pieces, and it seemed to me that the money was going after classic Italian Miuras, 275 GTBs. Big pieces like that did very well, and of course there was a $30 million Ferrari sale. Was it 250 LM?
There was a Mercer raceabout that sold for $5 million, which is
Like a Stutz Bearcat.
What and what did the other Zuckerman cars do?
My cars were down. Two of the three were down. I lost a little bit of money. And so
on the Mercedes, you lost a little bit.
And
what happened with the Porsche?
The Porsche, I lost a little bit on that 71.
And what else did you have?
I had the 1980 500 SLC homologation car, which I did really well on.
Wow.
I made money on that car.
No way. That's
I'm pleased
great.
that the cars are gone, but this
So wait, what do you attribute? That was the one I was most worried about, and that turns out to be the one that makes the most money. And that's only because I don't know Mercedes well.
It's such a rare piece. You do not see them. So it must have been that there were two guys who had never seen one of these, because it took me 7 years to find that car. You just can't.
And
find
7 minutes to sell it.
Yes.
SLCs are also just kind of cool. Like your other Mercedes is like...
I never saw you drive it.
Okay, I drove it a couple of times. It's a fantastic car. It was never mashed, never injured, never nothing. That it was factory fresh, was fantastic. The problem with the car, if I was going to keep it, you need to do a brakes upgrade. The period brakes are no match for the power of that engine and the weight of that car. And I got it on the freeway, and I was cooking. I was going 120 miles an hour. And then it came time to stop, and I was like, oh, shit, I'm not stopping. I'm locking.
I love that you beat on these cars. Yeah. Remember, you did that to the Zagato.
Yeah, and it's like...
just completely blew apart.
Yeah, so... I said, I either got to do a little bit of work, which would not be what I wanted to do on that car.
Right.
And when it came time to make room, that was an easy car to pass on.
I almost did that.
That's good news.
I went on a rally after Pebble in a 1930 Mercedes W06, valued at $27 million, and almost rear-ended someone on the freeway because there's no brakes whatsoever.
Yeah.
Chris Farley has a cousin, and his name is Jim. And he runs Ford. And I caught up with him at the Quail, and I stood at a table. It was a little windy. I had my portable recorder out. I had I think a fabric bag that I had to put over the recorder, so you didn't hear a lot of wind noise. So I apologize about the quality of this recording. It's the best I could do. And he and I had a very nice chat with 3 PR people right next to us, making sure we did not veer into any dangerous territory. I only had about 10 minutes with him. Here's my interview with Mr. Jim Farley.
Jim, very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You're having quite a week. I've been catching up with your stuff on Instagram.
Yes.
Did you drive across the country? What is that Ford Lightning road trip?
Yes,
took?
I drove 1,100 miles in the western U.S. to figure out the reality of driving an EV long distance. And, meet our salespeople. I think as leaders, we have to go and see with our own eyes.
Where did you go exactly?
We started in San Francisco. We went down to Bakersfield. Then we went to Mojave. Then down to L.A. Then back over to Barstow to go on Route 66. And then back up to Vegas.
And it's just you in a pickup truck by yourself?
My son.
And your son?
My 15-year-old son. And we had some support from the company, like the Blue Cruise team was sending new software to me to evaluate. It was a small group, a lot of long nights, a lot of odd situations at charging stations.
I don't think I've seen something like that from an automotive CEO in a while. Who was this your idea, or this team standing around you right here? Who had this idea?
My team got me into this whole thing.
Can I tell you something? It worked.
Yeah, okay.
I opened up Instagram and I went, look at this.
Yeah.
Somebody's finally doing something.
Yeah, it was actually it was a genius move. Not from the social media and the content, although that was great. Just for my learning, you can get really trapped in all the meetings, and I got, my team got a lot of to-dos every night about the truck, because I met a lot of customers, a lot of salespeople. We're just tripling production of the Lightning. It's a really big deal for us to go to 150,000 Lightnings. And Cybertruck is right around the corner, so is GM's truck. Rivian's starting to scale. So it was a very important time for me to kind of get really fresh, because we're going to have to merchandise.
What did you learn on the road? Aside from the fact that people in the left lane slow you down.
Very frustrating.
The right.
Yes, very frustrating.
Because you were in California, right?
Yes.
You saw that.
What are you doing over there?
It's not my imagination.
I wish everyone could have German driving instructions. Yeah.
But what did we learn about the charging network, for instance?
I think what I learned in summary is that first of all, I thought it was range anxiety. It's charging anxiety, not range anxiety. People know about the range. And what I learned is that it's actually a human problem to solve, not a technology problem. When we're getting into the new group of customers who are mainstream customers, they really aren't willing to pay a big premium for an EV, but they're interested in EV. But when they take that first long trip or the first couple trips, they have no idea what's going on.
Right.
And though the charging stations want to be a meeting point where people are exchanging information, they're trying to figure out what's going on, and it's a vulnerable time, actually, a bit of a scary time for the customers. And it was kind of interesting to me because almost all of our charging stations in January will join Tesla. We're right next to a supercharger network, and all the Tesla people are in their cars.
Right.
And all the non-Tesla people are all talking to each other. It was like I was at a...
And what is that? I know in our Tesla we have Netflix, so I usually watch
so everyone
Netflix.
is watching content. But like I bet 2 years ago when you bought your Tesla or others, you were actually talking to people in the charging stations, learning about what they were doing, and now you know it so well, you don't overcharge, you're watching your content, you're just getting on with life. It's not a lot of drama.
Right. Yeah, novelty.
For the rest of us, the Ford people, the Hyundai Kia people, the Polestar people, we're kind of figuring it out. Like, it's a new kind of customer over there. And of course, there's a lot of decisions to make.
Right.
Do you wait in line for the 350 kilowatt charger? If you do, is the person in front of you going to charge the 90%, or even though they need 67%?
Yeah.
Or is it better just to go to slow charger, go inside and have something to eat?
Right.
It's a lot of that.
It is all about the charging network.
Yes.
I took the new Mercedes and Tesla out to Palm Springs from LA just as a test to see what would happen over the weekend. I stressed in the Mercedes because the charging network frequently it would take me to a place that had chargers that had plastic on them.
Yes.
Or didn't work.
Yeah, you can't reserve them.
You can't reserve them.
I'm totally with you.
That little bit of anxiety was a little difficult. Let's shift gears.
I'm very happy that we joined the Tesla Supercharger Network in January.
Yeah, and you got to meet The Rock.
Yeah.
Had you met The Rock before?
I did. No, I met him in a previous life, but not as the CEO of Ford.
So that was part of your road trip, right?
That was pretty emotional, actually, because he gives a lot of his trucks. He only drives Ford trucks, and he gives them away to people he thinks is deserving. And what was interesting, I met a lot of celebrities. He's the only one ever who asked all the mechanics to come out of the dealership and take a picture with him.
Wow.
That was the only time. That is a special dude.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Well, again, this, the Ford stuff was hitting me over Instagram, and I was like, finally someone's waking this company up and doing cool stuff, and I really loved it. I thought it was great.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad.
How old's your son?
15.
Did he? Oh, well, that's perfect, right?
Yeah, he literally questioned everything I did for 3 days. So it's like he was being a teenager, and we got really close, actually.
Did you get him an In-N-Out burger?
We did have an In-N-Out burger one night. Yeah, it was a little cold, but no, he was just like, Dad, what are you doing? You're not close enough. It's not going to fit, the Charger, blah, blah, blah. It was every second I was getting questioned, which is great.
That's fun.
I love it.
All right, before we go, one of my favorite cars in the world is the Porsche GT4RS.
Me too.
And I understand you've built something that you feel will put it on its heels.
Yes.
The new Ford Mustang.
Yeah, GTD.
GTD.
Which is the IMSA class that we're going to race, which is essentially the same class as the Le Mans class.
It's here today at Quail. It's lovely.
Yeah, it's right behind us. So the idea behind the car was, look, I've been a car guy my whole life. I love the 911 RS from the 73 and 74, especially the lightweight one.
Yep.
And I watched from the 80s when I had my 5-liter Mustang and I worked for Toyota, I watched Porsche and then Mercedes, and then even Aston Martin and other brands build these GT cars when we kind of leaned into Shelby and did stuff like that. And it was always kind of like a little sad as an American. And there's Chevy has a Z06, but they're not the same concept as a Grand Touring, race car. And I love the GT2 RS. I love the GT4 RS. I love all those cars. But I thought maybe as an underdog, since we're going to Le Mans, why don't we take our GT3 essentially race car and make a road car that's even better than the race car, and actually take stuff like DRS that we would love to put on the race car, but it's outlawed, and put it on the car. So it's a kind of a total right turn for us. It's not anything like we've ever built. It's not a Ford GT. The genesis of the vehicle was actually, when we went back in 15 to win Le Mans on the 50th anniversary of our outright win, we actually started that project 4 years later thinking it would be a Mustang. But we realized that the French, we would require a lot of waivers from the French, and they would probably never give it to us, so we built the GT. But always in the back of my mind personally was this car for 50 years, probably my whole life, since I saw the 73 RS.
Yeah.
And
so that was really inspired by that car.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, wow. That is my favorite 911.
Absolutely. All the pieces come together, you drive it, you're like, oh, I get it. It doesn't even take like 2 shifts and you go, I get it. That's what the car, this nimble, as lightweight as possible and everything, but every nut and bolt is purposeful, and get our race car drivers to tune all aspects of the car so that it feels really natural and small. And I think it's going to be a special car. I think, people like me and others who are American, we didn't have much choice. And there were American fun cars, like a GT500 with lots of horsepower, but they didn't do the same thing as a GT2 RS. And there are other cars that can go around, track really fast, but they're not really usable every day. I want a car that people can really use every day, do a track day, and their talent will run out before the car. And I want a car that has DRS, will go really fast in a straight line, but also is unapologetically American, but still has more performance than an Aston Martin or a Ferrari. And I know that says a lot because we're the underdog, and I like being the underdog.
How many are you going to make? Is it limited?
Couple thousand.
So you got to know somebody.
Yeah, you do.
Do I know you?
Yes. And we did something we've never done because we keep learning. The GT was kind of a breakout car. We had a concierge service. Mm-hmm. Everyone applied, but if you're going to put it in your collection, we wouldn't give you the car.
Right.
You have to go to Cars and Coffee. You got to drive the car, talk to people about the car. And this is the same thing. It's an application. We have about 100 customers we gave golden tickets to, and they have the ability to be first run customers.
Wow. Amazing. It's an amazing story. You're a racer too, right?
Yes. Yeah, I just got my IMSA bronze license this year.
You talk like one.
Yeah,
it's
I do.
Yeah, you do, and it's great.
I do. Yeah, that's honestly, I'm I love Ford, and my hobby is, my family and racing. That's it.
Amazing.
I spend all my spare money on racing.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today and telling us about the car.
Yeah, I think
when you're in LA,
yeah,
on a road trip, you come see us. Come
I'd love
to the
to.
studio.
Well, I put myself to school at Phil Hill's Restoration Shop. I went to UCLA for my graduate degree.
Oh, wow.
And I was a janitor for a year, and then I was an interior guy. And so I feel like I learned a lot from Phil Hill and the mechanics that I shared that shop with. And I feel like LA was the moment when my kind of car life became clear that I'm going to go work for a car company.
Do you know what I am about to put in my car life? A Bronco Heritage Edition.
Perfect.
Yes.
What color did you get?
I'm trying to get the Robin's Egg.
Yeah, that's the one right there. That's the one.
And we'll talk about that after.
Yeah, I just ordered it myself. To be honest, the exact same car.
There you go, bro.
Yeah, it is.
Boom.
It is so awesome. With
Yeah,
a few
I'm
little
excited.
mods too, it's going to be. Actually, I hate to say it won't perform like a Raptor, but it's actually cooler than a Raptor.
You know
I
what?
think.
I'm buying the idea of fun.
Me too.
And
Yeah.
expanding my teenage boy's California life. My wife was like, "Why are you getting that?" I go, "I want to have fun before I go.
Yeah.
I want to have fun."
It's safer than a Myers-Banks, right?
Yes,
yeah.
Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Let's just grab a picture and we're done.
There you go. We've learned a lot. Affable guy. Gonna hang out with us. Told us all about that Mustang and why he did it. He's really a nice guy.
He let me drive his Cobra.
He did?
Yeah.
Yeah, you interviewed him right after.
Yeah.
Real car dude.
Yeah, he's a real car guy.
Oh, ridiculous. Very unlike other CEOs.
And he's going to get me that new Heritage Bronco. Or at least he said he would.
Ooh.
By the way, I haven't heard anything about it since they said they would get it for me. But someone did reach out. A fellow by the name of Mike Levine. You must know Mike Levine.
I know Mike Levine.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
If he's reaching out, yeah, he wants to sell you
So
a
that's
car.
exciting.
That is exciting.
Yeah, we may have a new baby Bronco.
Oh, can't wait.
Zuckerman's thrilled.
Rollovers.
Some exciting news about Jay Leno's Garage Car Wash Products, who, as you know, I used them last week because I wash my own cars. And you've seen my neighborhood. Where do my neighbors see me washing my car? They think
love
I'm
it.
the car wash guy.
Yeah. Toss the keys to you.
I love doing it.
Mr. Rats, could you?
Mr. Rats.
Michael Rats.
Feddersen, we don't do that here. Swiggins and Peabody.
Around back, please. You're
Yeah,
filthy.
please, you're embarrassing yourself there. Get some of the Southerners that live south of California. Get some of them to clean the car,
Oh, those
not
people.
you. That's for the paws.
The man who mispronounces the word Jesus. Get him.
Get him to clean your car. They're selling Jay Leno's car wash stuff. Dodge is now selling it. And the guys reached. They said, "Hey, can you let everybody know?" I'm letting them know right
Let's
now.
make
Look at
our
that.
own. Let's make our own car juice.
Yeah.
I heard how much money they're making on that stuff. It's a lot, and it's hard not to jump in. It's hard, but we can't. It's Jay's idea. It's his idea. He already sent some to some rapper guy,
And comedians.
and then suddenly he's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll find
I
our own
use-
thing to sell. We'll find our own.
I
thing
use
to sell.
Jay's stuff. It's great. I'm out
It's
of
awesome.
the spritzer
Oh my
thing.
God! Don't say that.
Why?
A refrigerator box of stuff is going to show up to your house.
My wife will have Jay killed. We can't do that.
All right, Steve. Steve, who listens, just heard that.
I need some of that juice.
It's good stuff.
You do, gee, be careful.
Steve,
I told you what happened.
He's got the room.
I asked for this is what I said to Jay and Steve. I said, guys, I have a lot of the other stuff from the last batch you sent me. Just send me a little of the windshield stuff. And they go, just that? I go, just one?
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm using more often than not. A refrigerator box showed up, and I opened it. The whole neighborhood came, and everybody took stuff. It
They
was
all
great.
ran down the street.
Yeah, I texted everybody I knew who liked cars, and I said, "Come on down, it's Jay," and they ran down and looted it, and it's great stuff.
It is.
So there you go.
I've gone through two kits.
Now I want a percentage. You got to give me
Yeah.
some money for doing that. That was a free mention for you guys because we love Jay Leno and Jay Leno's Garage, and that's our show, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
I wanted to get into all this this New York Post story about Elon Musk taking ketamine, and the New York Post theorizing that may be what's causing his erratic behavior, is self-medicating with drugs. But I don't have time for that story right now.
Special K.
But I would imagine that's probably true. If you
If you have delicate brain chemistry to begin with, and then you tinker with it, with your own formulas, your own measurements, you might be nuts.
His associates have reportedly connected his erratic behavior to self-medicating with illegal drugs, which means he could have a problem, which means that, look, that he may need to just go get some help, and maybe that's what we're looking at, and we should be sympathetic towards that.
Yes, I would like to know what Elon's bottom looks like.
I think you're seeing it.
Blocked in a
Not
room
yeah,
like a beautiful mind, just making, sketching
But
out
doesn't that
formulas.
kind of explain so much of maybe what we're looking at? And that maybe an exciting shift could happen should he decide
drugs plus mental illness plus drugs.
What's the mental illness, allegedly? What?
Anybody who does ketamine themselves is probably has a mental illness.
Anybody who's self-medicating usually has an addiction problem.
he's also
It's
like
simpler.
mental illness,
It's simpler.
yes.
For me, it's the he's like fascism curious is
But-
the part
but
I
look-
don't like.
He might leave all that stuff behind once he gets his head right. It's happened.
Sure.
Do you know
I
who's
wish him the
who's
best.
the who's the clueless girl? Remember there was a girl on Clueless. She was African American actress. She
Yeah.
and then she suddenly was a Fox News correspondent.
Yes.
And she stopped drinking.
Right.
And then the reporter said, "Are you ever going back on Fox News?" She goes, "No, that stuff's not attractive to me anymore." It was really weird thing.
Yeah.
That it's shift in perspective or anger or something about herself. Anyway,
Once he
I just thought that was an interesting. That's an interesting story last week, and maybe there's no more that needs to be said about it.
But when's he fighting Facebook boy? Who I saw with
See,
his
all
shirt
of
off.
that to me is
yes.
indicative of somebody who might be using
Somebody
drugs.
acts like they were on drugs. They probably or crazy. They probably are on drugs or crazy or both.
But Zuckerberg said, "Let's fight," and I saw him with his shirt off. He's ripped.
Yeah, but no.
He's
Zuckerberg,
like
in
ripped.
response to that, said, "I don't fight people who show up at my house," and he did that through a spokesman.
Ooh.
He's conversely looks like a guy who's really working out every day
And getting together.
training,
Like serious.
getting together, and likes to fight for real.
Yeah, and is like 10 years younger too.
And Musk right now is all talk. But now I would like to see this fight happen. But I'd like him to get healthy first. See what happens then.
I'd like him to get a knuckle sandwich.
Could we see the announcing? Can you set that up where
What's that?
We do the ringside
well,
play-by-play.
MMA wants to do it.
Oh.
Dana
We'd be
White
funnier.
wants to do it.
We'd be funnier.
They'd do a better job.
Yeah, but we'd be funnier.
I don't know about that.
We do the worst job you could do.
If they put this event together through MMA, that is a spectacle like we've never seen before.
Never.
But you do want Elon to be a competitor. You want him to be trained for a few months.
Do you?
I do.
I want to get.
There's
punched
nothing.
in the
There's
kisser.
nothing
End of
worse than
story.
just a quick fight that just ends in one punch.
I want to see Zuckerman throwing like peanuts and bananas at him, screaming "monkey hair." That'd be the best.
Now look, we could do the first card. We could do Lieberman versus Farah finally, which is something we've been wanting to do for years.
He's lost too much weight. We'd be in different weight classes. He's too skinny now.
It'd be a good fight. I think you would probably win.
He's too thin. I'd feel bad.
I just don't know how Matt Farah punches. Like, I can't see him throwing punches.
He doesn't punch. I don't really punch either. Come on, let's be honest.
So who do you think would win?
I mean,
Come on, say it.
I think I'm
Just say you
I'm
kick
a
his ass.
stronger. I believe. I don't know. I'm a little out of shape, but I believe I'm a stronger person than Matt.
Well, you
is.
just heard it. He called Matt out.
He called you out, Matt.
Matt has
He
lost
called you
like
out.
30 or 40 pounds.
He called you out, Matt.
Called you out. Card terror versus.
Are you going to
versus-
respond?
I love
Pan
Matt.
bender.
And, he's a very sweet guy, and I would never fight Matt. I would never fight anybody.
you would.
No,
What if
no.
What if Dana White offered you one of the fight cards ahead of the Elon?
How much we talking?
It'd be a lot of money.
$10 or $12.
No, you'd probably make $500,000 off that.
Oh yeah, I'd fight Matt. Yeah, I'd rip his fucking throat out. $500,000.
There you go.
Heard it.
You heard it.
He called you out.
Dana White, $500,000, and you have the automotive fight card of all time.
Like not the purse. That's like I get that, and then
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they think the winner
Yeah.
of that fight has to fight Farley, because that would be another good fight.
he'd win. He's.
Oh, stop thinking about yourself. Let's get this fight on.
That's our show, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next week on Spike's Car Radio.
Thanks for listening to Spike's Car Radio, brought to you by Hangar 56. Listen to new episodes every Wednesday, and be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.